They actually seem to get some of that right, which isn't hard.
Supposing two swallows carried it together. No, they'd have to have it on a line. Well, simple.
Yo, what up? So I'm gonna watch the Rings of Power trailer number 2 and give you a little bit of thoughts, feedback on that. I have actually watched some of it already, but then I thought, oh wait, maybe I can actually react to this and maybe I can actually respond to this a little bit before before I stop thinking about this for the day. So here we go, Rings of Power trailer 2, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
There was a time when the world was so young. There had not yet been a sunrise. But even then, there was light.
They actually seem to get some of that right, which isn't hard.
Call to me, lands far away. Elves have forests to protect. Dwarfs their mines. Men their fields of grain. But we Harfoots have each other. For I must now wander this wandering day. We're safe.
I don't know what to make of that. I don't.
You have fought long enough, Galadriel. Put up your sword.
I can't see Elrond saying that.
The enemy is still out there. The question now is where?
It is over.
You have not seen what I've seen.
I have seen my share.
You have not seen
Elrond was
what I have seen.
at the Battle of the Last Alliance, for crying out loud. I mean, he fought Sauron.
Darkness will march over the face of the earth. It will be the end, not just of our people, but all peoples. I am sorry, but their time has come.
The past is with us all. The past is dead. We either move forward or we die with it.
This could be the beginning of a new era.
Not sure who these characters are really. Not quite. Greetings. This episode brought to you today by yours truly at Blue Mesa Studios. Please have a look at the links for Patreon. I'm also on Buy Me a Coffee and several other places that are shown on your screen. If you'd like to support the channel, that would really help me out a lot. Thank you for watching, and now on with the show. So, quick thoughts. I think two things stand out to me the most from a story perspective. That is Elrond, and from other sources that I know, Celeborn. Elrond is an elf, a half-elven. He was actually born of one parent was human. I think his father was an elf, and so he got to choose whether or not he became an elf or a human. So he chose to be an elf, chose to be rendered as an elf, and he was vehemently anti-Sauron. I'm not sure he would have been the one to say it is over. I don't know if I see him saying that. So that's rather out of character for quote unquote the Lord of the Rings. Elrond. Number 2 is what I've heard from extra information outside of what we have in the trailer here, and that is that Celeborn, Galadriel's husband, is in the books and in the Legendarium. He actually doesn't factor into the Rings of Power. And so that's kind of mind blown, because he and Galadriel actually ruled different parts of the kingdom, eventually settling in Lothlorien. And so they went from place to place in Middle Earth for over hundreds of years and eventually settled in Lothlorien. In addition, I guess point number 3 is that this isn't really Lord of the Rings. It's the Rings of Power. Lord of the Rings refers to the trilogy that Tolkien wrote, Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, and Return of the King, which happened in the Third Age, Age 3. And it happened over about an 18-month period for the Fellowship to take the ring to its final destination, to have it destroyed in the battle of the War of the Ring, and then the Return of the King. However, if you factor in the 14 years, I think it's about 14 or 15 years, that Gandalf spent down in, I believe it was Gondor, studying and trying to figure out what ring Frodo had, then it becomes a little different, because Frodo was in his, I think it was 30, in his 30s, whenever Fellowship happens and Bilbo leaves, but he's 50 whenever he starts off on his journey in the Fellowship of the Ring, whenever Gandalf comes back. So it took a long time for Gandalf to figure out that the ring that Bilbo had, that Frodo now has, that was actually the one ring. It took him a while to figure that out. So those 3 points. Elrond, I'm not so sure about this take on his character, given the other knowledge that we do have about his character. And where the heck is Galadriel's family? Her husband Celeborn. I mean, if this is true, and if she is going around actually fighting instead of being a commander, as she was more in the books and a ruler more in the books, that would be a different take on her character, very different take on her character. And number 3, Rings of Power is not Lord of the Rings. That's the big one. That's the big one. That's the one that I will start to chip away at, because I'm not so thrilled about some of the things that have gone into Rings of Power. It looks, this is another thing, maybe thing number 4 for those of you counting at home. It kind of looks a little more bland than the Peter Jackson trilogy. The colors are kind of there, but it looks flat to me. I'm not exactly sure how the color grading works. I'm not exactly sure what they've done. It looks consistent, but it just doesn't quite pop, like Peter Jackson's version does. So that's something else. And I don't know, for number 5, I guess I've heard this before, but in one sense, I don't have any problem with someone who is not white playing an elf, but it does make me wonder, okay, well, that's fine. So the next question is, well, where do they come from? I mean, are they the elves that never saw? This is pretty bad, but there were what were called dark elves, and those dark elves were the ones who had never seen the light of the trees in Valinor. Are we going for something here? I don't know, but it's okay, so that's cool, that's fine, but it opens up a lot of other questions as to, okay, how does this happen? Where do they come from? So, yeah, I guess I have a lot of questions more than anything, more than I have answers. And so, yeah, cool stuff. It was interesting. I think I will watch the series probably and pick it apart. So we'll see what happens. I'm not really sure what to expect, but it'll be interesting. So yeah, there you go. The trailer number 2 for Rings of Power, upcoming series on Amazon. Thanks for watching. Appreciate y'all. Till next time. Peace out.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.